President Biden is seriously considering proposals to establish term limits for U.S. Supreme Court justices. Sources also say he is pushing for an ethics code that would be enforceable under law amid this growing concerns that justices aren't being held accountable. And the move would make a major shift here for the president, who has long resisted calls to reform the high court. Consideration of the proposals comes in response to the growing outrage among Democrats about high court opinions that overturn landmark decisions on abortion rights and federal regulatory powers. More on this, let's bring in Queen City News Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes.
All right, so let's talk about this. So Biden reportedly wants there to be term limits, but this has to go through Congress, right? I mean, so regardless of what he wants right now, I mean, explain this.
It definitely does. I mean, any type of thing like this, I mean, he endorses it, great. Needs 60 votes. Let's start there. I mean, right. I want $1 billion in my bank account. Some other things have to happen before I can make that happen. I mean, this is the equivalent of me saying that. Him endorsing that means absolutely nothing. He doesn't have the ability to just wave his pen and say, you know what, tomorrow we're going to start making, term limits. Congress has tried this a number of times in the past. Democrats right now have something out there. They have an 18-year plan that has been getting, some bipartisan support. But overwhelming majority of Republicans do not want to see it happen. And you got to think about it. Why would they want that to happen? Right now, there's a 6-3 majority of Republican-held, justices on the bench right now. The folks that are normally in power don't want to let power go by, accidentally saying, you know what, let's agree to get rid of it. I don't see that happening. It's just like gerrymandering when in North Carolina, when Democrats had control of the state, they were totally against, any type of reform for gerrymandering. Now they're not in power. Democrats are like, gerrymandering has to go. It's the same right here. In a few years, when Democrats have control of the Supreme Court, there will be no talk of term limits from Supreme Court justices. So I think this is a non-issue totally.
But the confidence in the Supreme Court has eroded tremendously. Under 30%, I believe, when it used to be very high. And also with the recent decision, doesn't President Biden have some more powers now?
What I can tell you is for sure that support, confidence in the Supreme Court has dwindled over the years, and it's their own fault. If you don't have any ethics reform, if you don't have anything that can hold your feet to the fire.
Checks and balances.
Right. If you do things that are outside the norm, I mean, specifically with Alito and Justice Clarence Thomas, not noting a number of different things, getting trips, getting money paid, houses being bought, a number of things that happened in the past where there was being a judge that wasn't on the Supreme Court. If it happened to any other type of judge, there would have been reprimand. There would have been some type of accountability, and there isn't. So yes, support for the Supreme Court seems to be dwindling, and there is a number of folks that are in the community that are supporting this. But any type of poll, I would say you have to remember, it just depends on who you're polling. I think if you go out and poll a number of Republicans, I think they'll say, you know what, I like the way the Supreme Court is ruling right now. You've had affirmative action issues that have been, you've had LGBTQ issues, and now most recently you had the Dobbs decision with Roe v. Wade. I mean, there's not support bipartisan for any type of change like that. And without bipartisan support, it's not going to happen.
And when you look at the Supreme Court justice, as you said, Samuel Alito and then also Clarence Thomas, and looking at the types of things that are coming out of what is concerning, that is kind of bringing this whole conversation to the forefront, then it becomes very political.
It does. It becomes political, and that's why Biden, at the very minimum, has to try to garner his base. And so, if anything, today's endorsement is him saying, listen, I hear you. I hear your concerns. I hear your frustrations. I support exactly what you're supporting. But does that move the needle even politically for him? I don't think so, because it's only the folks that are in his party that's pushing that.
Yeah. Khalif Rhodes, appreciate it.